This is Kal Kat, the Kal Kat's turn. Yeah. This is a review of Obi Wan Kenobi Part 6. Finale. Ooh. Yeah. So overall, this series has been hit and miss. Uh, there were elements of WandaVision that were definitely hit and miss, especially the first couple parts of it. And then the other ones, Falcon and the Winter Soldier had some of the same issues. I didn't see Hawkeye. Yeah, what was that other one? It was another. Oh yeah, the Mandalorian, Boba Fett. Book of Boba Fett got really lame really fast. This one kind of suffers from the same thing, but in a different way. Same issues involving like the DC Dark Space, even though it's Marvel. About half of this thing, the finale, is them fighting in the dark. So you can barely see what they're doing. Because the special effects apparently... That would be the only reason you would do that, is the special effects weren't up to par. So in order to have the lightsaber battle show up, you had to have it dark, so the light would go... Even though in the movies that Disney made, the sequels, they did that and did it well, so they've done that. Okay, so basically the premise is that Obi Wan decides to face Vader again, which is inconsistent with the timeline, and which they've broken canon from any number of times anyway. But Paramount has also broken canon with Discovery and Stranger Worlds as well, so sure, and Lower Decks and Prodigy. So they've broken canon over there too. So it suffers from the same thing. They're gonna have another final battle on another dark planet. Not Mustafar, a dark planet. Yeah, the scene where they fight on Mustafar again, that's just fan service from somewhere else. They don't. Spoilers. They fight on some unknown dark planet. Meanwhile, the Inquisitor lady, I guess she is, goes to Tatooine for no apparent reason, after apparently being repaired from being shafted with a lightsaber. They don't explain it, how she got repaired in literally what appears to be hours, and went to Mustafar and whatever. There's some weird, and why would she even go there? How is that revenge on Obi Wan to go there when she's one of the younglings that was spared during the Order 66, 10 years earlier. One of them that was spared her. And decided to join up with Vader even though she was nearly killed by him. It makes no sense that she would join up with him at all. They basically send the ship. A Star Destroyer is chasing a small, tiny ship, which is ridiculous. And then this coming from I spoke to Scott from the church, who is a Star Wars guy, and he doesn't like the premise of the story. It just doesn't work. This would have been better as a 90-minute movie, this whole series. In this case, unlike the Eternals, which should have been a mini-series, not a movie, this should have been a movie. With Obi-Wan Kenobi facing Vader in a movie. Just about 2 hours, that's it. Cut out all the fluff. The fluff doesn't need to be there. The Inquisitor lady, the kid, all that. Just it's a face-off between him and Vader on the planet. Even the rescuing Leia thing is kind of silly if you have Liam Neeson there for one day doing his one line. He does show up doing his one line. In the same way that Kal Kat on the set of Star Wars, the other Star Wars that they do suggested that all of the Force Ghosts have to show up at the end, including a Force Ghost Han Solo do that. That is in the movie. In the other one. That is in the Rise of Skywalker. That's in there because Kal Kat. Palpatine wasn't. My idea was that it wasn't Palpatine. At the end, it would reveal that he was a puppet. Mark's Card's idea as well. He revealed that he was a puppet, and that Jar Jar Binks was actually the Sith Lord. He was behind the controls the whole time. Thus making the prequels awesome. I wasn't the only person that thought of that idea. But yeah, in this case, we don't have Jar Jar Binks, and we don't have brief Palpatine appearance. Ian McDiarmid. Yeah, so we have Ewan McGregor's barely even listed in the credits. But yeah, yeah, it's kind of a mess. Oh no. So they split up. So the Star Destroyer no longer follows the small rebel craft. The Inquisitor guy, the white face paint, is freaked out at that idea. But he goes along with it because it's Vader. That's the one odd thing about like the sci-fi in general that's kind of copying Dune and Foundation and stuff before it. Star Wars does. You can be copied Foundation. That's the copy. Yeah, and so like the idea that how could a galactic empire even happen? Because you have like one madman dude in charge of the universe. The universe, really? The galaxy? Several planets? So who would even follow the guy? It doesn't make sense. It's like a weird cult message or something. Like, yeah, even on Earth, if you had like a cult leader guy in power somewhere, once he's gone, his cult followers are like, okay, well, maybe 1 million of you'd follow him, but nobody else would. So yeah, that's not the whole universe. That doesn't make sense. Yeah, like if it's even 1 million at that point. So yeah, the Deborah Chow's series, and she was an executive producer as well. I think she did some Oscar movies. That's why they cast her as the producer, and she's a producer. So as a producer, she's putting up the money along with some of the other people that are putting up the money. The producer puts up the money. So you can't just blame it on the script writers and the script, even though it was probably pretty weak. No, it's who produced it and put the money up. I mean, anybody can write the script, but as a script person, story writer person, yeah, you're not the director. You're not the producer. You're the guy under that wrote the script. It's not the script writer's fault necessarily. It's direction and placing and all that stuff. So, in the end, you have a they rescued Leia to the planet off screen. They rescued Leia to the planet off screen, which is the same way all these modern movies and modern Marvel movies and Star Wars movies do this. Let's just set up a bunch of good guys and bad guys to do a fight scene. Let's just set it up so the drama ends just before it should and is ultimately anticlimactic. Here they do show a battle, but then everything is repaired and everything's okay, but Vader and the Emperor are talking, and he's all fixed up now, and he's like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be interested in Obi Wan anymore, which sort of retcons why he would even care for another 10 years about Obi Wan. They should not make a season 2. There's nothing here to go with the season 2. Don't do it. Don't do it. There's nothing there. It's like when they got to Mandalorian season 3, they wrote some of the episodes of season 3, and they're like, oh shoot, we had to get rid of that one lady, so we'll just use those 3 episodes we didn't end up using in season 3 and tack them on the end of this weak Boba Fett story we have with neutrinos flying on Vespas, because we just loved Luca so much. Anyway, but yes, it's clear they were in the same universe. No, Lucas is not the same. But yes, kind of actively was. The neutrinos are from Ninja Turtles, of course. But yeah, you have the battles on both planets have to be at night in the dark. The one on Tatooine with the Inquisitor lady apparently trying to get revenge on Buru and for some reason, and then deciding, oh, I'm not really going to kill him. I'm just going to like rescue him and bring him back to them. Like, why did you even try? The kid had Luke has nothing to do with anything. Luke is just that she doesn't know who that is. Her reason for going there doesn't make any sense. Why would she do that? And then she said, and then he gives up, and the guy Obi Wan shows up after his fight with Vader, and he's fine all of a sudden, like Vader was in the next scene, and he's fine, and he shows up, and he's like, oh, by the way, yeah, I surrender. I'm not gonna attack him. Here's the kid back. And, oh, you have a mortal quandary I have to explain now. Ah, because you actually decided not to follow Vader. Okay. And there's an earlier scene where he tells Vader kind of the same thing when Vader's mask is all damaged and stuff. He says, oh, no, the person that took over me is no longer Anakin. Anakin is dead. Evil Sith Lord. You might want to have some context there. Millennial writers that don't understand context. Explain why he would say that. Or, yeah, show don't tell, but in that case you kind of do have to tell. Because there's no telling what's going on. And you have a story that's set up for this millennial thing, but it's what they've been doing for 10 years, roughly. The story idea is where you set up a situation, and the situation is the thing. That's like, we have an idea, but there's no solution to the idea. It's just an idea. It would be like it's a genesis of okay. You have. Well, let's use it in the case of the Star Wars story. Here we have. Why is the Inquisitor lady motivated to even go to Tatooine in the first place? Didn't explain that. Because if it's for revenge, why? She doesn't know who they are. She hasn't met them. Why is she... Yeah, there's no reason for her to even be there. She should have just said, like, oh, I just wanted to find Obi Wan and, like, I guess hurt the story or something. Because how... There seems to be something missing. And it's just that they didn't write it. I don't know who wrote this particular story, but these are scenes that need to make sense. Why was she down there chasing them? If it was just to get Obi-Wan's friends, then that's dumb. It would be like a bully on a playground going, I'm going to get those guys over there because they like this guy. It doesn't make any sense. Why would they do that? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, so there's a lot of issues there with that ending story. And although the Red Letter Media should have fun with this one because all their predictions didn't come true. And the Capena show also said, oh, he's got to show up. The Force Ghost got to show up. Well, the Force Ghost does show up. Spoilers, but it's stupid. He just shows up and says, I've been here all along. I was like, okay, yeah, you got a one-day paycheck to appear literally in stock footage, practically. Going, I am Force Ghost. Oh, doesn't do anything. You've got a lot to do. I'll set up for a sequel. I'm literally the sequel bait guy at the end. No. And it's not that Star Wars was perfect in its iteration years ago either. It wasn't. The prequels were even worse than that. So they did learn from some of their mistakes. The prequels were a mess. There's just too many things happening. But yeah, brilliantly pointed out by the Red Letter Media guys, Dr. Plinkett, Mr. Plinkett, whatever. He's like, yeah, it's silly there too, but at least they had an ending in mind. At least Anakin blows up the droid the spaceship thing at the end. Here they wouldn't do that. This modern one, they would say, oh, the spaceship blew up off screen. Yeah, that's exciting. That's what they would do here. Yeah. He blew it up, but you didn't see. Too bad. Also, I met Luke, but I immediately walked away, and there's no dialogue about that because canon. Yeah, there's some issues with this one. Would have trimmed it down to a 2-hour movie and just left all the fluff out. All of it. I said, okay, he's got to rescue Leia in 24 hours and come back, and face Vader, but not in the dark, because that's boring. Twice they face Vader in the dark. And it's boring because you can't tell what's going on. Yeah, it's literally too... Yeah, when they damage his suit, then you can see the reflection, but... Apparently, and how does that work? So there are definitely issues with this. It's not just because, oh, Star Trek guy, Which, actually, for the past 10 years, I've been more of a Disney Marvel guy, actually. But yeah, 10, 12 years or so. But yeah, so... But yeah, and no, we're not shills for Disney or Marvel, clearly, because we're clearly, like, riffing on their stuff and the other guy's stuff. So clearly not. Yeah, so there you go. Obi Wan, yeah. Oh no.